Good morning once again. It's wonderful to see so many students signed in here this morning from your classes across so many different schools. We have a very interesting session today, and we have this by two very young, very dynamic professionals that we have with us, and it's an absolute delight for us to see how the next generation is coming along and is being able to share some real stories and insights from what you see as your own learning over the years. So for today's session that's been curated specially for high school students, we have Ms. Shrutika S. And Ms. Bhavana Prabhu. Shrutika S. is a junior psychologist and a clinic support at Element H Psychological Services here at Chennai. And she has over a year's experience in the field of psychology after having completed her master's degree in psychology with a specialization in counseling psychology. Shrutika has been working with children and with adolescents experiencing emotional distress and academic difficulties as well, and supporting them with stress management, academic skills, and social skills training. Bhavna is currently a third-year student of psychology at the MOP College, Vaishnav College at Chennai. She has a lot of interest in understanding human behavior and mental well-being, and it's through her academic training and internship experiences in mental health that Bhavna has gained a lot of practical exposure to behavioral observation, psychological assessments, and multidisciplinary clinical care. Bhavna is somebody who's very passionate about promoting mental health awareness, and she truly strives to make psychological concepts very engaging, accessible, and relevant, while encouraging self-awareness, emotional well-being, and critical thinking amongst students. So I don't think we could have had anybody better than Shrutika and Bhavna to lead our high school students through this wonderful session on what do we do if we want to focus on those little daily habits to ensure that there is strong academic as well as personal success. Thank you so much for being here this morning, Shrutika and Bhavna. Truly appreciate you making the time to share your own learnings as well as some of those little wonderful practical tips that I'm sure you will be providing our students with. Students, if you don't as yet have a notepad and pen with you, make sure that you're very quickly grabbing one. You should be making notes as you listen to Ms. Bhavna and Ms. Shrutika as we go along here. Over to you, Bhavna and Shrutika.
Thank you so much for the very warm introduction, ma'am. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today. So, I'm Shrutika, and I hope all of you are doing good. So, today it's not going to be a lecture thing. We'll be learning some evidence-based strategies that will help us in our academic and personal success. So, let's get started. So, people often think success comes from big habits and big changes, but it's really the small habits that matters. It is the small habits that has a predominant change on our future. So, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, this is us. You'll be seeing us throughout the session. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. And this is our team Element H. So, a hi from team Element H here. Yeah. So these are all the contents that we'll be covering. Yeah. Okay, with no further delay, let's go. Okay, so before we start, I want everyone to answer to this question. So what is that one habit that you want to build? So you can write any one habit. So I want you to be, okay, yes, okay. So you're going to be as specific as possible when you're writing that one habit. It could be related to your academics, physical health, emotions, relationships, or even your daily routine. We'll come back to it throughout the session. I'll give you 1 minute. You can think and you can write down a goal. I can also give some examples. So when it comes to academics, it is something like study maths for 30 minutes every day. I want you to be this specific. And when it comes to physical well-being or fitness, drink 2 liters of water every day, eating 2 vegetables every day. And when it comes to social relationships, for example, calling your grandparents at least once a week, eating 1 meal a day with family, it can be something like that. So everyone has written one habit. Okay, I'll give you 1 more minute. Think of it, and you're going to be as specific as possible. Are we ready with the goal? Okay. Now we'll be slowly going to the next segment. So by the end of this session, you'll exactly know how to make this habit stick. And now let's learn about some theory. Then we'll go to the habits. Then we'll go to the techniques. So some theory. Here we go. So research shows that why do habits matter actually? So research shows that a large part of our daily behavior is driven by habits rather than the conscious decisions. So this is why small actions that we repeat every day have a powerful impact on our future. So for example, think about brushing your teeth or tying your shoelaces. Do you stop and think about every step? No, right? You do them automatically because you've done them so many times. And this is how, when we repeat certain actions, it becomes automatic over time. So when you repeat the same action again and again, you teach your brain, hey, this is important. After enough practice, you don't need to think as much before doing it. So now let's learn about how our brain actually forms a habit. So we'll take an example here. Whenever you learn something new, whether it is cycling, driving, dancing, or solving algebra, your brain has to think carefully about every step. So let's see which part is responsible for this. So for that, I want everybody to keep your hand like this. I couldn't see the video, so I'm assuming all of you are keeping your hand like this and your thumb finger like this. Fold your fingers. Now, can you see a rough figure of brain? So this is our prefrontal cortex. So this part is responsible when we learn something new. Think of it as your brain CEO or the planner. So it helps us to focus, make decisions, or learn new things. So now imagine you have practiced the same skill over and over again. And then your brain says, hey, why am I working so hard? I've seen this so many times. So at that time, your prefrontal cortex will hand over the job to another part called the basal ganglia, which stores repeated behaviors and turn them into habits. So do you ever wonder how does it actually happens? This happens because of neuroplasticity. So let's learn about what is neuroplasticity. Our brain is made up of billions of nerve cells called neurons. Every time you repeat an action, these neurons send signals to each other. The more they fire together, the stronger their connection becomes. The ability of our brain to build stronger connections through practice is called neuroplasticity. That is why the actions that we repeat over and over again slowly become habits. So your brain strengthens whatever you repeatedly do. So choose your habits wisely. Okay, So far, we have understood why habits are important and how our brain forms them. But have you ever wondered how a habit actually happens? Every habit follows the same four-step cycle called the habit loop. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. Okay, perfect. So here it is cue, craving, response, and then reward. So let's see what cue is. A cue is what reminds your brain to start a behavior. For example, it could be a time, so it's time to do this behavior, or it could be a place, it could be an emotional state, it could be another person, or it could be something else that you see. So, for example, here we'll take the example of an alarm ringing, and then we'll go to craving. So, craving is the reason behind the habit, it is what you want to feel or achieve. So here we'll take the example of you'll want to feel fresh. So for example, when the alarm rings, your craving is to feel fresh. Your desire is to feel fresh. And then for feeling fresh, you'll take an action, right? So that is called response. The actual response is you getting out of the bed, drinking water, making your bed, and getting ready for the day. So by doing that, you'll feel accomplished. So that is the reward your brain gets. So you feel accomplished, you feel satisfied, that is your reward. Because your brain enjoys the reward, the next time the alarm rings, it becomes easier to repeat the same behavior. And likewise, we'll take another example. So you get a phone notification, that is your cue. So you'll be curious about what that notification would be about, and then you'll actually open your phone, you'll start scrolling, and then you'll have an instant dopamine hit, instant entertainment. So again, here your brain receives a reward, right? So the next time you hear a notification, it automatically wants you to repeat the same behavior. So you here, did you notice something? Here's something fascinating about our brain. It doesn't know whether a habit is helpful or unhelpful. So choose the habits that become the person that you want to be. It simply strengthens whatever you repeat. So if you repeatedly study after school, that becomes easier. So choose your habits wisely, I would say that again. So throughout the session, we'd be repeating the same sentence, I think. So, okay, fine. So now we know how habits are formed. Let's learn how to use this habit loop to build the habit you wrote down at the beginning of the session. Okay, let's look at few simple science-based strategies. Actually, these help me a lot. So these are the techniques which I have tried personally. During my school times, I am an average student, maybe average inclined towards high. I'm an average student. So sometimes I learn to procrastinate things. Whenever I sit to study, that only at that time I'll think, oh, what did that hero do in that movie? What is the plot of that movie? What will be my mother doing in my house? What if I hear that song again? So there will be so many distractions. So these habits help me to overcome my procrastination and help me to focus and concentrate. So here I am sharing things that worked out for me. So you can also implement it, which will be really helpful. And all of these are science-based habits. I mean, evidence-based habits. Right. We'll start with start small. So these are usually called tiny habits. Dr. B.J. Fogg's research shows that starting with very small behaviors make habits easier to begin and more likely to last. So again, I'm asking you a question. How many of you have said, from tomorrow I'll study for 5 hours every day, and by day three, it slowly started disappearing? Okay. Yeah, right. Sometimes it happens, right? So, this is why our brain likes small, achievable wins. So, for example, instead of saying I'll study for 5 hours straight, start with I'll study just for 10 minutes. So, here, don't try to change your whole life overnight. Start with any one or two simple habits. Once you start, the continuing becomes easier. So, small actions done consistently are more powerful than the big actions done occasionally. So I'll tell you another example here. So the way you start your day often influences the rest of it. So, for example, you wake up at the time you have planned. For example, so the last night while you're sleeping, you decide to wake up at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. and you actually wake up at that time. And after waking up, you're drinking a glass of water, you're making your bed. So, these small habits may seem small. These habits may seem very small. Array, what is this? What am I going to get from this? But your brain actually sends an early sense of accomplishment. So completing small tasks like this build confidence and makes it easier to continue with the next habit. So what did we learn just now? We're going to learn some tiny habits, that is small habits. Start small. Okay, we'll go to the next technique, habit stacking. So the easiest way to remember a new habit is to attach it to a habit you already do every day. So I'll tell you a formula for this. After I do this behavior, I will do that behavior. For example, you all now that you already have a routine. In the previous example, we have seen that you're going to wake up, drink water, make your bed, right? So after I make my bed, I am going to review yesterday's notes for 5 minutes. So after I review yesterday's notes for 5 minutes, I'm gonna take bath. In that way, you're not you're not stacking too many habits. Instead, it becomes one single routine. So one habit become the cue for the next habit. In that way, it will be easier for you to follow. We'll go to the next one. Okay. Next is implementation intentions. So there are so many researches done for this, and one research by psychologist Peter Gollwitzer found that people are more likely to follow through when they decide exactly when, where, and how they will act. So here you don't just decide what you'll do, decide when and where you're going to do that. Instead of I'll study today, you're going to say at 7 a.m. after dinner, I'll study science or maths or any other subject for 30 minutes. So here you'll be saying, I will do this behavior at this time in this place. So you're being specific here. So specific plans are always easier for the brain to follow, right? Okay. So next is environmental design. Behavioral research, there's a lot of research done for this, and one behavioral research done by Wendy Wood shows that our environment strongly influences our daily habits, often without us noticing. So our environment quietly influences our behavior each and every day. So, for example, keeping your books on your desk, keep your phone out of reach while studying, and pack your bag the previous night. So, and also another example I would say is if you have an exam tomorrow, if you're having a biology exam tomorrow, the previous night itself you take the biology books outside of your bag and keep it on the table. So, in that way, when you wake up, you'll automatically go freshen up, drink some water, and you'll start studying your biology. So, in that way, you're making the helpful habits easier and unhelpful habits difficult. Okay, so environment plays a major role. We'll go to the next one. Right, identity based habits. So here the idea is don't focus only on the end goal. So you're having a goal, right? So instead of focusing on only that goal, focus on the kind of person you want to become. For example, instead of I want to get good marks, think I am a student who studies every day. So another example, instead of I want to be fit, think I am someone who takes care of my health. Yes, so every habit is a vote for the person that you want to become. Goals tell you where you want to go, but identity tells you who you want to become. And in this way, when you change your identity, when you change who you want to become, your habits become easier to maintain. Okay? So we're not only focusing on the end goal here, we're focusing on the kind of person you're becoming in the process. Right? Okay, next we'll go to motivation and consistency. So here another question. Do you brush your teeth only when you're motivated? No? Or do you do something like you take bath only when you're motivated? No, right? So you do it because it's a habit. So motivation is something that helps you to start, and consistency helps you to succeed. And also remember this one thing: missing one day is completely normal. So maybe because of any other circumstances, you're missing it one day. But remember this: never ever miss twice. The next very important thing is getting back on the track the very next day. Okay, I understand. Motivation is so we can say motivation is like a weather. Some days it will be all bright and sunny, and the other day you don't feel like doing anything. So you don't feel like studying, you don't feel like doing anything. So that is completely fine. As I already mentioned, start slowly, start with small habits. So eventually continuing becomes easier. And again, I'm telling you this: motivation helps you begin, habit helps you to continue. So sometimes, as I mentioned, we don't feel like studying, we don't feel like doing anything, right? So at that time, instead of asking yourself, do I feel like studying today? Ask, what's the next small step that I can take? So in that way, that will help you to think about what you're going to do next. Okay, so now we have learned some of the habits which helps you to retain the habit that you wrote at the beginning of the session. So which of these strategies can you use to make that habit easier to build? I'll give you 2 minutes. You can see which technique from this works for you. Not every technique should work for everyone. You can see which is easier for you, which works for you. You can just go through. I'll give you 1 minute. Done. Super. Okay. We'll go to the next part. Perfect. So now we are going to see some of the daily habits that will help us for the academic success. Okay, these are all some simple habits, simple techniques, which will give you a different perspective. Okay, now let's see what is growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Have you guys heard this term before? Yes? Super, very good. So, uh, how many of you have said, I'm just not good at maths? I'm not good at physics. Oh my God, this chemical derivations and all. Oh, I'm not good at this. How many of you have said that? I've said that during my school. Wow, I see so many hands going up. Okay. So I've said it so many times. So I've said that I'm not good at maths. Oh my God, what are these problems? Who even created these problems? So there's two ways of thinking this. Fixed mindset is saying, I am bad at maths. And growth mindset is saying, I am not good at maths yet. So adding the word yet reminds us that our ability improve with efforts and practice. It is saying that there is always a room for growth. There is always a room for us to improve certain things. For example, when you first learned cycling or swimming, was it easier for you? So eventually, when you learn it again and again, practice is what that made you better, right? So studying works exactly the same way. Don't let today's ability decide tomorrow's potential. So from now on, when you're going to say I'm not good at particular thing, you're going to add the word yet in the end. Are we going to do this from now? Yes? Perfect. We'll go to the next one. Okay, so now we're going to see about goal setting. Okay, fine. Now I'll again ask you a question. How many of you have said, I'll study more this year? I'm going to do more this year. This year is mine. Yeah, I could see some hands going up. Yes, right. I've told that to myself. Yes. So, what does that more actually means? A goal is easier when it is smart. Now we are going to see the SMART goals. So we'll start with yes. So S says be clear about what you want to do. So in the initially you have written a habit, right? So now we are discussing SMART, that is SMART goals. So also review your habit. Fine. So S is be clear about what you want to do. For example, I'll study more. Instead of I saying study more, I'll study mathematics. And next is M, which stands for measurable. Know how you measure your progress. So when you say I'll study and I'll practice maths, say it I'll solve 10 maths problems. In that way, it is measurable. Yeah? Okay. Next is achievable. Set a goal you can realistically do. So instead of saying I'll study for 8 hours or 9 hours a day, say I'll study for 30 minutes every day. Make sure that it is achievable. Okay? We'll go to R, which stands for relevant. Make sure the goal is important to you. And then we'll go to T. So here we're giving ourselves a deadline. So whatever tasks we take, give yourself a realistic deadline, saying, I'll complete this by the end of this week. I'll complete this task by the end of this month. Give yourself a realistic deadline. Okay, all done. So putting all of these SMART goals together, I've given an example. So for the next 4 weeks, I'll study science for 30 minutes every day after dinner and complete one practice test every Sunday. So here it is SMART. So this is an example of SMART goal. Okay, now you guys are already smart with one goal, right? Let's make you even more smarter. Okay, now we are going to add ER, which stands for evaluate and revise. So, a goal isn't something you set once and forget. You're going to check your progress regularly, and if something is not working, change the plan, not the goal. So, for example, studying science for 30 minutes after dinner is not working, you're going to change it as studying dinner studying for 30 minutes before dinner. That works. And by the end of every week, review your goals. How is it going? Do I need to change anything? Track your progress regularly. Okay. So I'll give you 1 minute. So make sure that you have written the goal that is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and you have set a timeline. Done? If you're done, you can just raise your hands.
Ritika, we could have one or two student volunteers perhaps
Hmm.
walk up to the mic and share their SMART goals.
Okay, sure, ma'am. So can I have any one or two of you to come to the mic and share the goal that you have set if you're comfortable? So with that, we'll go to the next one. I want at least any one or two students.
Teachers who are with the students, if you can facilitate one or two students you are with to please walk up and be able to share what their goal is.
You can stand there and speak. Yes. Move behind a little.
Happy morning, ma'am.
Happy morning.
My goal is that as soon as I get home, I'll fresh up and start studying for 30 minutes.
Very good. So, what are you going to start studying? Is there any specific subject?
Uh, for any important subjects as it's informed, like for
Oh,
study.
right. Okay. That works. Super. Okay, everyone clap your hands. We know your name?
Muhammad Human.
Okay, super. Very good. So in that way, you're also doing the ER part, evaluating and revising. Okay, super.
Happy morning, ma'am. And
Happy morning.
my name is Samjik, and I'm studying in 9th grade, ma'am.
Okay.
So I want to develop my habit like every day. Once I got from school, I will study for 20 minutes on one subject, and I can repeat the process in weekends also, ma'am.
Very good. Super. That is great. Okay, everyone clap your hands. Very good. Thank you.
Morning, ma'am. I'd like to finish 3 worksheets in each science every week leading up to my semester exam.
Wow, that's great. Very good. Your name? Okay.
So, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
So for the next 2 months, I'll study my SAT English and Maths every day evening after I come home, and maybe complete every mock test. Every Sunday, I will complete a mock test.
Wow, that's
It's basically
great.
preparing for this. Thank you.
Okay.
Uh,
Very good.
and there is another friend who wants to say.
Okay.
Like I want to start running morning.
Good morning.
One, I'm Deepak, and for the next 2 months, I'll start running near the lake for next 2 months.
Very good. That's good.
Oh,
Good, Deepak.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, ma'am. I'm Janani.
Hi.
Hi, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm Janani from St. Mark's Matriculation High Secondary School. My
Okay.
smart goal is I will study 2 subjects every day for 30 minutes before dinner and complete practice tests on Sunday for the next 3 weeks.
Very nice. Very good. This is specific. Good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone
Hi,
else?
ma'am.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I
Hi,
can
ma'am.
hear you. Hi.
So my smart goal is I'll prepare for SAT English section, especially every day morning for 30 minutes. And then at
Okay.
the weekend, I'll review whatever I've done, whether I missed something, and then I'll change my plan if it's not working out every weekend.
Perfect. Perfect. That sounds great. Super.
thank you.
Okay. Anyone else want to share?
Ma'am, can I?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, I'm Kamalesh from Sadhguru Global School. I had,
Okay.
I had seen your class that I
Okay.
will prepare for daily. I will prepare 30 minutes every subject from my boards, and I will be achieve my goal
Good.
at the end of this year. And I will
Very
daily
good. Hmm.
take mock test about my progress.
Okay. So when you say every subject, are you going to study one subject per day or how is it gonna go?
Ma'am, I will study every subjects that we are that the teachers taking the lesson. I will le- learn the concept every day, and I will
Okay.
study
Okay.
and I will make notes of it, and I will study the important questions from the chapter, ma'am.
Very
For
good.
that
So
30
what you're
minutes.
saying, yeah. Perfect. Perfect. So you're going to review the teacher's notes every day evening, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That sounds great. Super. Super. Okay. So anyone else?
Hi, ma'am. My name is Tanushya.
Hi.
Hi, ma'am.
Yeah.
My goal is to study the hard subjects for 1 hour. Then another 1 hour, I'll just focus on my project work.
Okay. Is there any specific project work or the project given at that time of
No,
period?
project. Only the specific project.
Okay. Okay then. That sounds great then. Very good.
Joyful morning, ma'am.
Happy morning.
My name is Yam. I am from secondary school, ma'am.
Okay. Actually, the voice is breaking.
Yeah.
Now, okay, ma'am.
Yes, perfect.
Ma'am, I read for my test. First, I split 2 sessions, ma'am.
Okay.
First session, I read my all subjects, ma'am. And second
Okay.
session, I remember the all I read, ma'am.
Hmm.
Next, I write a mini test, ma'am.
Okay, so when are you going to do this? At what time are you going to do this? And for how many
First
days are
session,
you
10
going to
minutes.
do?
Ma'am,
Uh,
first session, 10 minutes, ma'am. Second
hmm.
session, 10 minutes, ma'am. And last section is 30 minutes.
Oh, so you're going to read 30 minutes, and in the 30 minutes, one section per 10 minutes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So for the measurable, it is like for every week. So till when? Till when are you going to do that?
Ma'am, daily, ma'am.
Okay, good. Very good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
First, my name is Yas Ishan.
Hi.
I am from Kranji Global Metric High Secondary School.
Okay.
First, I will complete my homework in 1.5 hours.
Okay. Very
Then
good.
I will read the subjects what are taken in my school
Hmm. Very good.
in 1 hour. In 1 hour, ma'am.
Okay.
At last, I will write my fact copies in 2 hours or 1.5 hours.
Very good. So here I'll also suggest you to start from small. So start from small habits. So
Okay.
start from 20 minutes, 30 minutes instead of 2 hours, 3 hours. Okay?
Okay,
Initially,
ma'am.
you can
Thank you.
start from small. Okay. Thank you. Very
Thank you,
good.
ma'am.
Okay. So anyone else? Can we continue? Okay. So we'll go to the next slide. Okay. So this is somewhere I felt a lot of difficulty. So I don't know which task to. So during my school times and my college times, I keep the assignment or a particular task till the last. Oh, yes, you want to say something? Hi. Yeah, sure. Please go.
So my smart goal is that after starting for us science school,
Actually,
I will
just
start
1 minute. Sorry to interrupt you. Your voice is breaking. Can you come a little closer?
Can you hear? Ma'am, can you hear now?
Yes, now it's perfect.
Now, my smart goal, I am coming from, good morning, ma'am. I am coming from Akshara International School.
Hi.
My name is Abhyut.
Hi, Adyut. Yeah.
And my smart goal is that as soon as I come from school, I finish all my classes, study for half an hour, but also have a little fun on weekends for the next 4 weeks.
Very nice. Very nice. Super. That's great. You're also having fun weekends. Good. Perfect. Okay. So, shall we proceed to the next one? Yeah? Okay. So, I want you guys to raise your hand if you ever said, I have so much to do, but I don't know from where to start. I'm raising my hand. We all have felt that sometime, right? Okay. So, here the problem is not we don't have enough time. So, it is that we don't know what to do first. So, this is called Eisenhower matrix, and it will tell you which task needs to be planned and prioritized first. So, here we have the column of important and urgent. So, these are the tasks which has deadlines and which needs to be done immediately. So, for example, you have a homework due tomorrow, or you'll have to study for tomorrow's maths test. So, don't delay these things, which is an urgent and important, right? And next, we'll go to the important and not urgent. So, these tasks may not have an immediate deadline, but doing them consistently will help you stay prepared and reduce the last minute stress. So if not, the proper planning is done, it might go to urgent and important. So for example, revising as many of you mentioned, revising every day or reading a book or preparing for the next week's exam. Okay, now let's see what are the urgent and not important. So these are all the tasks which need not to be done by you every time. So for example, you can ask a friend to share today's class notes if you're absent for the class, or else you can ask help from a family member. You can request them to take a printout for you. So these are all some of the things that you can delegate. And here it is important to note that this doesn't mean you're avoiding the responsibility. It means recognizing that some tasks can be shared or completed more efficiently with help. Okay, now we're going to the last one. Not important and not urgent. So these are all the things you're going to schedule it for later. These tasks does not require your immediate attention. So they can be done when you have free time. For example, folding your clothes or organizing your bookshelf, cleaning your study table, or rearranging your stationery list. So these tasks are useful. But if you keep postponing these tasks, they may eventually become important or urgent. So now you know what to do first, right? The next question is when will you do it? How are you going to do it? So again, here's the technique which I'll tell you guys is this worked for me, guys. This worked wonder for me. So I already mentioned you, right? I used to procrastinate அப்படினு. So here, what I did was, so instead of saying I'll study whenever I feel like எப்போ தோணுதோ அப்போ படிச்சுக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்றதுக்கு பதிலா what I did was I decided the exact time beforehand. So your brain also follows a clear plan than a vague intention. For example, so many of you said after coming from school, I'll do my homework, I'll do my work, right? So you're going to schedule a time. That is, you're going to allot a specific time. For example, 5 p.m. to 6. So for example, imagine you're getting from school at 4:30 p.m. So 4:30 to 5:30, I'm going to freshen up. 5 to 6, I'm going to do maths homework. 6 to 6:30, I'm going to do some social maps or diagrams. So after that, 6:30 to 6:45, I'm taking a short break. And then again 6:45 to 7:30, you're doing the for say biology revision. Yes, so research shows that when you decide when and where you study, you are more likely to follow through and less likely to procrastinate. Okay, so now I'll give you 3 minutes. So you're going to draw this tabulation and you're going to write down the tasks which are urgent and important and which are not urgent but important, and some of the things which you can delegate, that is urgent and not important. Next comes not urgent and not important. I'll give you some time. You can write it down. So doing this will help you which task needs to be prioritized first. I'll give you another 2 minutes, and if you guys are done, just raise your hand. We'll go to the next one. Wow, good. I can see some hands going up. Very good. I can see someone saying hi by raising their hand. Okay, good. Can we go to the next one? Okay, so we can go to the next one. Okay, so here I want to ask you a question. Have you ever sat down to study but got distracted within few minutes? You'll think about your favorite song, you'll think about your favorite hero. I do. How many of you do this? Some of us occasionally do this, right? Okay, so that is okay, you can keep your hands down. Super. So that is completely normal. Our attention improves when we train it consistently. So imagine, so think of your attention like a muscle. The more you train it, the more stronger it becomes. So every time you focus on one task without getting distracted, you're strengthening your brain's ability to concentrate. But every time you keep switching between tasks, it becomes harder for your brain to stay focused. Okay, so we'll see some evidence-based techniques which will help you to increase your focus and concentration. Okay, we'll see what Pomodoro technique is. I'm sure somebody would have heard it. So we'll see what it is. So Pomodoro technique is nothing but working in short, focused sessions with planned breaks. For example, this helps prevent mental fatigue and also makes it easier for us to concentrate. So our brain is not designed to concentrate for hours and hours without break. So for example, when you take athletes, athletes will take a short rest between the exercises, right? So if you see in IPL, there will be a break in between, right? So like that, our brain also performs better with short breaks. So how are we going to do this? So you're going to study for 25 minutes and then a 5 minutes break. So you're going to repeat this 25 minutes study session and 5 minutes break. So you are going to study with full focus. and you're going to take a break with no guilt. Okay, we'll go to the next one. So here's single tasking. How many of you thought that multitasking actually saves your time? That multitasking is cool. How many of you thought that? Okay, so research shows the opposite. Every time you switch between tasks, your brain has to refocus, making learning slower and increasing mistakes. So, here, what we are going to do is we are going to focus on only one task at a time instead of multitasking. So, multitasking doesn't save your time, it divides your attention instead. Okay, let's go to the next one. Next slide. Thank you. So here we're going to see about environmental design. So you're going to create an environment that helps you to focus, not distract you. Your environment has a great influence on your behavior. So you're going to, here the basic idea is making the easier habits more easier and unhelpful habits more difficult. Okay, so in here, what you're going to do is you're going to keep your phone out of sight. You're going to keep the study table clean and organized. And you, as I already mentioned, when you have an exam tomorrow, for example, you're having a biology exam tomorrow, you're going to keep all the books inside and you're going to keep only the biology books on the table. Keep the books that you only need that. And there is few research, interesting research studies that I want to share with you. There is one study which shows that simply having your phone visible can reduce attention even if you don't use it. And there is another research by Dr. Gloria found that after we are interrupted or distracted, it takes about an average of at least 23 minutes to fully return to the original task. For example, imagine if you're studying maths. Imagine if you're solving a problem in maths. So you might think that you're going to use phone for only 10 minutes. Hey, just 10 minutes I use punter, then I'll go back to study. Anna, that 10 minutes will cost you more time than you actually imagine. It will take a lot of time to regain the same focus. Your brain now has to switch back into the study mode. Right. So here you're going to protect your focus because every distraction that is coming has a hidden cost in it. Okay. So next, mindful minute. So this is a very simple, easier, and effective technique. I always do this. So before you start studying, just spend 1 minute focusing only on your breathing. This helps your mind settle and prepares your brain to concentrate. So every time you're going to sit for studying, you're going to do this. Are we going to do this? Okay. So we'll try it now. We'll try it once. I want everybody to sit comfortably in a comfortable position. So just for 1 minute, you keep your notes and pens on the table. Sit comfortably however you want. Okay. With that, gently close your eyes. So take a slow breath in and breathe out. Are we on the same page? So take a small breath in and breathe out. So you're going to do that for 1 minute. Breathe in and slowly breathe out. Breathe in and slowly breathe out.
Shrutika, you saying something? You're on mute.
Oh, thank you for that, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. So I was mentioning that every time you're going to sit for studying, you're gonna have a 1 minute mindful breathing. Okay? Perfect. With that, we'll go to the next one. Bhavna, can you please change the next slide? Okay. Thank you. So let me ask you honestly, have you ever picked up your phone just to check one message and 30 minutes later you're scrolling? I've done that before. I've done that. Raise your hands if you ever done that. Right? Some of us might actually do it occasionally. So, phones are not our enemy. Technology is an amazing tool for learning, communicating, and creating. So, here the real question is, who is in control? Are you controlling the phone, or is the phone controlling you? So here we are going to see few simple tips that we already know. So here we are going to turn off the unnecessary notification because every notification grabs your attention even if you don't open it. Your brain is already disturbed, interrupted by that notification. And next, you're going to use focus mode or do not disturb. So, but now all of us are having a lot of study materials in our phone. We have it in our Google Classroom, we have it in our mail. So it is inevitable for us to not use the mobile, right? So here, how to use it effectively. At that time, you can use your focus mode on or do not disturb on so that only your study apps or important calls can reach you. And next, you're going to keep your phone out of sight. You can either while studying, you can keep it in a bag or you'll keep it in the hall or keep it in a different room if possible. And the next question is you're going to unlock your phone with a purpose. So I started doing this actually. So when you pick your phone, ask yourself, why am I picking the phone now? Is there any purpose that I'm picking the phone now? Am I going to make call or am I going to make a payment? So ask yourself, why am I unlocking this phone? If you don't have a reason, put it back. And next is the 20-minute rule. During a focused study session, don't check on your phone until the timer is over. For example, if you want to study for over 20 minutes, have the study session for 20 minutes and then take the phone. Till then, don't take your phones. And I would also suggest everyone to avoid sleeping with your phone next to your pillow. Charge it away from your bed. This sometimes reduces the late night scrolling, and helps you to sleep better. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Right. So, overcoming procrastination. As I already mentioned, sometimes I used to procrastinate a lot. I know this task is important. Shrutika, you should complete the task. The deadline is tomorrow. I know that. But sometimes I still feel that I'm procrastinating on certain things. But during my school times, I found it difficult. I was not able to submit the assignments on time. But then slowly I started using one technique. So I just want to share it here with you. It is very effective and very helpful. So the biggest challenge is for us is not studying or getting done with the assignments. It is getting started. So here I'll introduce you to a 5 minutes rule. Our brain often makes a task seem bigger than it really is. So instead of telling yourself, I'll have to study for 2 long hours, 3 long hours, you're going to tell yourself, I'm going to just study only for 5 minutes. So once you start, your brain settles into the task and it becomes much easier to continue. For example, சரி ஒரு 5 minutes இந்த maths problem solve பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு when you're sitting, you already solved 5 problems, 5 math problems. So psychologists call this overcoming the starting barrier. So getting started is often the hardest part. Anna, once you start doing, continuing becomes much easier. Okay, we'll go to the next ones. So, do you guys often think that I want things to be perfect? 1 minute. The previous slide, please. Thank you. So, do you guys think that I want the outcome to be perfect? I want it in a certain way. Do we think that? Sometimes I think that I want things to be perfect. I always wait for the perfect mood, perfect time, and perfect day to start. But instead of waiting for the right time, start it immediately. Don't delay it. So sometimes when we procrastinate things because we expect things to be perfect, it leads to perfection often leads to procrastination. So what we can do here is progress. Start doing the tasks. Progress is what leads to improvement. So, for example, okay, instead of writing the perfect essay, instead of waiting to write the perfect essay, you just start with the first paragraph. You can always improve it later. So here I would say you don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step, and eventually it will take you to the end. Okay. With that, we'll go to the next one. Yes, these are some of the effective study techniques which I found interesting. So first is active recall. Okay, so without looking around or discussing with anyone, I want you to think of what was your breakfast today? What did you eat for your breakfast today? Did you remember it? Yes, right. So notice what you just did. You didn't read a notebook, you did not discuss, you did not do anything. You just pull the answer from your memory. So that is exactly what active recall is. So after studying a chapter, close your book and ask yourself, can I explain this without looking? If yes, awesome. If not, that is perfectly okay. You just understand what you need to revise. Yes, that is active recall. And then we'll go to what is spaced repetition is. Okay, so now imagine that you have a plant. If you water it only once and then ignore it for a month, will it grow? No, right? It needs to be watered regularly. Your works the same way. For example, studying a topic only one time is not enough. So every time you revise it after a few days, you're watering your memory. You're making it even more stronger. So, for example, if you're reading about what is photosynthesis, or you're reading about what is maybe your physics or derivations or chemical equations, you're studying anything like that, today you're studying that. So tomorrow you're going to revise it. And again, after 3 days, you're going to revise it. And again, after 1 week, you're going to revise it. Every revision tells your brain, hey, this is important information. Don't delete it. So in that way, it will be easier for you to remember certain things, the chapters that you've read. Okay. So next we'll go to the practice testing. Imagine you want to learn driving. Reading a driving manual and seeing videos on how to drive. We see so many Instagram videos where they'll teach us how to drive. இந்த மாதிரி gear இப்படி பண்ணணும், steering இப்படி பண்ணணும். We see a lot of videos, right? So reading and watching videos won't become like, it will not make us more confident. So unless and until you sit behind the wheels, you'll be more confident. You'll see how it works. So studying works the same way. Reading your notes, helping you learn, but solving the questions helps you apply what you have learned and prepare you for the real exam. So here we're not just studying the content, we are practicing it. You're practicing applying it, right? Next is an interesting method, SQ3R method. So I'll begin with an example. When you're about to watch a movie, for example, a Jananayagan is releasing, right? So you'll watch the trailer, you'll become curious. Oh my God, what am I going to see? Who is going to do the cameo role? What is the plot of the story? We'll be imagining so many things, right? And then you actually see the movie and then you'll remember the story. That is how SQ3R method works. So here, S is called survey. S stands for survey. Imagine reading a chapter. So you're going to look at the headings, picture, mind maps, and the summary. Not just starting with the first line of the chapter. When you open a chapter, you're not just reading from the first line. Initially, you're surveying the chapter. You're seeing what are all the headings are there, what all the diagrams are there, and then you're going to question yourself. Q stands for question. Question yourself, what am I going to learn from this chapter? So here, so it will make you curious. What am I going to learn from this? Like that. And after that, you're going to read, recite, and review. So read is carefully to find answers. So you're going to read carefully the whole chapter to find answers to the question. So the question was, what am I going to learn? Right? So here you're going to find the answers by reading it carefully. And then you're going to recite by closing the book and explain what you understand in your own terms. And then you're going to review. Revise the chapter later to strengthen the memory. You're again using spaced repetition here as well. You're going to come back to the chapter that you have studied. Right? Perfect. Then we'll go to Feynman technique. Okay. Let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever thought you understood a topic, but suddenly when your friend comes and asks you to explain it, you get stuck? It happened for me sometimes. Then I started using this technique. So here, Feynman technique is exactly what that is about. If you can explain a concept in a simple word, it means you truly understood it. If you can't, you always have the room to learn about it. So you have to read about the topic even more. So for example, you can do these steps. Learn the topic, try to explain it yourself in simple words, see where you're getting stuck. And again, you're going to relearn those parts and explain again. Right? That's all. That's about it. And you're going to an interesting method, that is sandwich method. Okay. So imagine this. If you're about to go for a running race, so do you start by sprinting at full speed initially? எடுத்த உடனே are we going to run? No, right? Initially, we'll do the warm up and then we'll start slow and then we'll pick the speed. Correct? அந்த மாதிரி here, if you begin with the hardest topic, you may feel overwhelmed. So here you can use the sandwich method. So imagine you have 3 layers, layer 1, layer 2 and layer 3. So layer 1 is start with an easy task. So begin with something simple to warm up your brain and build confidence. For example, revise yesterday's notes or you can do some worksheets like that, an easy task. And then move to the hardest task. Once your brain is focused, at that time, with your peak focus and concentration, you can try solving complex problems. For example, trying to do a physical derivation or chemical equation or any other tough math problems in the second layer, the hardest part. You can do that. And then we'll end the study session by a medium important task. For example, you do something that is less demanding. In that way, you start with an easy task, go to the hardest task, and then finish with the medium task. So the technique here is warming up your brain, challenging it, and finish with confidence. Okay, so by using all these techniques, who is gonna ace their exams? You are. Okay, so with that, I hand over the session to Ms. Bhavna.
Thank you. Sorry. I hope I'm audible now. Yes?
Yes, you're audible now.
Okay. So I'm Bhavna Prabhu. Currently doing my third year in MOP Vaishnav. And today I'm going to be talking about daily habits for personal success. I hope to keep this interactive and I'll just finish it off like very briefly. So if you can unmute your mic, it'll be really helpful. Okay. So starting off, first, I want to talk about something called the marshmallow test, which is a very important study when it comes to understanding gratification. Now, what exactly is gratification? Gratification is a very important concept of habit formation because it is what structures how you actually form your habit. So coming to the definition of gratification, it basically means the satisfaction you get when you fulfill a need. Like suppose, let's say you finish a homework on time, or you get really good grades. So that happiness that you feel is what is known as gratification. So in this study, it was conducted by Walter Mischel in the Stanford University's Bing Nursery School, and it consisted of mainly 3 to 4 years of age preschoolers. And what happened in the test was, children were placed in the room, and they were given 2 options. So the first option was eat the marshmallow immediately, or wait for the researcher to come back and they get 2 marshmallows instead. So as you can already guess, some of the students waited, while as the remaining 2/3 of the student population ate the marshmallow. If you can zoom in and if you can see the child's reaction as to how much they are suffering to actually eat that marshmallow, is totally relatable because I do the same thing. And basically, what gratification and the need for delaying gratification says is, after conducting a longitudinal study on these preschoolers for the test, they found out that they had overall better self regulation, they performed better academically, and overall, they had a better self esteem because they knew how to delay gratification from early on. Next. This is basically summarizing what Shrutika had already said. This is something called temporal discounting, and it's very important to understand why habits form the way they do. For example, like a personal anecdote from my side, every time when there is an exam, I don't really feel like studying. I'll just be like, you know what, let me just open Instagram for like 10 minutes. And like for the 10 minutes, I'll scroll and then afterwards I'll start studying. I think that's pretty much relatable to all of you as well. um the 10 minutes doesn't end in 10 minutes. The 10 minutes goes on for like at least 2 hours. That is another topic. But basically, what happens when I start scrolling on Instagram is I get the immediate reward, of satisfaction that, you know what, okay, I can scroll. Like, it's nice to scroll and not think about responsibilities, which is my tomorrow's exam. And what happens when you get an immediate reward is dopamine is released immediately. And dopamine, as you know, is the happy hormone. So you feel good about it. So of course, if you're going to feel good about something, you're likely to do the behavior again and again. And as you keep repeating the behavior again and again, the neural pathways connected to that habit strengthen. So now what happens is, after a point of time, I'm sure like most of you would have just opened Instagram or opened whatever social media app without even realizing. You just open your phone and you'll automatically open Instagram, because that's how etched it is in our mind. That's how established it is in our mind because of the all these cyclic methods is what form a habit. So next we'll be moving on to theory of planned behavior. It is proposed by Adson, and it has 3 important components: attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control. So attitude is basically what I think about a particular habit. Like, let's say you're going to join a debate team. So if your attitude says that, you know, debating will improve my confidence, I like debating, I've always enjoyed debating, that is your attitude about this particular topic, which is debating, right? The second one is subjective norms. Subjective norms are what do people around me think about this habit. So if your peers or if your parents think that debating is good for you, you are more likely to join debating as well. And the third one is perceived behavioral control. So that refers to the extent to which whether I truly believe I can do it. Right. So if you believe that you know, I can prepare for the debate competition, I can speak in front of thousands of people, then you're very much likely to actually join the debate team of your school. Next is a simple example. So the example is you decide to start going to the gym finally, and there are 2 different situations. I'll read out the statements. What I want you guys to do is, after reading out the statements, I want you guys to tell me which of the situation is more likely for you to go actually join the gym. So I just want you to raise 1 or 2. That's enough. Like, I don't think you can unmute, so you can just raise 1 or 2. So I'll read out the statements. So situation 1 is, you think that, I don't really care about fitness anyways. Like, I've not thought about fitness much, so I don't really care. And the second statement of the situation is my family does not really encourage wasting time on physical fitness, so I don't find the need to do it. The third thing is I don't have time after school as well, so I don't think I can do it. So the second situation is I've always wanted to go to the gym and get more fit and stronger. All my friends are into fitness and my family really encourages it. My gym is also nearby, so I can spare like 30 minutes for a gym session easily. So which situation do you think is more likely for you to join the gym? One or two? Yeah. Okay. Yes. So it is two. And also, when possible, just reflect back on the components I just discussed now, and like tell like you assign which statements refer to each component. The next one is dominoes effect of habit building. Have you ever felt that the most hardest part of starting the habit is actually starting the habit? That is this like everyday case for me. So what happens is let's say you come back to home after school, you tell yourself, you know what, I'll just solve this one math problem, it seemed really interesting. Then you solve one math problem, then the second one, then the third one, then the fourth one, and by the time you notice, you've finished the whole worksheet. That's basically what the dominoes effect of habit building is. So it says that initiating a behavior increases the likelihood of subsequent behaviors increasing. So as you start a behavior, the likeliness of all the other behavior starting is very much there, because you've already made a commitment, might as well just follow it through. So from my personal experience again with the gym, I won't feel like going to the gym sometimes. I'll be very lazy, and I'll be like, you know what, today is not my day. But then I'll tell myself, okay, I don't have to go to the gym. I'll just keep my clothes ready, I'll keep my shoes ready, all that. And then I'll be like, you know what, I don't have to go to the gym. I'll just book an auto and I'll just go there. If I don't feel like doing the workout, I'll just come back. And the chances are at least 100% of the time I will go to the gym and I will finish my workout, because you're already going there, might as well just do it. It's easier to maintain over time as well if you follow this, because it's about breaking that initial mental barrier that exists. So after the motivation just flows through, so it's like a chained reaction. Okay. So I want you guys to read these statements, and I want you guys to tell me if you have related, like at least said it once in your life, because I say it like daily, at least 3 times daily. Yes. Okay, so if you relate to whatever statements were showed before, it's because of the fresh start effect. It was proposed by Katie Milkman. And basically, what happens in this is you set like a landmark. You tell yourself, you know what, today is Friday. I don't really want to like start on my homework. I'll just start. I don't want to start studying. I'll just start on Monday. Like, what is a big deal that can happen? Like, like new week, new me. Like, I'm a different person on Monday. I'll just start on Mondays, no problem. So, what that does is it makes you feel like when you're planning for something, like I said, dopamine is released and it makes you feel like you're already there, even though you're not even nearly there. So, it makes you feel good about yourself. So, you end up planning more than actually doing the activity you need to do. And past failures feel psychologically separated. So, when you say that you're going to start on New Year, or you're going to just watch one more episode, or just 5 more minutes of scrolling time, and then I'll do my work, you essentially feel that you're in control of that moment. You feel that, okay, 5 minutes then, like, what is a big deal in 5 minutes? I have full control over 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, I'll become like a new person totally. On Monday, I'll become like a true person. But if you actually think about it, calendars were invented by some person. You don't even know if today is Friday or Monday unless you saw the calendar. Half the people won't even know what day today is. So, what is the connection between Monday and the perfect day of starting whatever activity? Yes, as cliche as this sounds, I have personally implemented this. I still remember I joined the gym on 2025 July 9th, which was a Thursday. And I didn't wait for one day because I've already done that like thousands of times. And I told myself, no, this is the time that I'm not going to fall in this trap. So I just started on Thursday. And one more important thing to realize is motivation temporarily increases after fresh starts. So once you start studying on like Monday, you do it. Yes, you'll probably do it for like until Thursday. You'll be very consistent at it. You'll be like, no, I'm a new person now. I can't go back to my old ways. I have to stick to my routine and I have to make a commitment to study. But then if you have noticed, the motivation fades over time. Just I want you to reflect back and think on it, because for me all that's almost every time that happens. And what happens is you don't have consistency, so motivation like fades very naturally, right? Okay, so the next one is Parkinson's law. And basically, what this is you wait until like the very last moment to do anything. Like, let's say your teacher has given you a science model to be prepared in the by the third week, but first week you're like, "Ennada periya vishayam, like third science model nana apurama panikalam," that you will think, and then week one you'll be like, "I got plenty of time. I don't really care about this." But then the second week, you'll be like, "I'll do it like the next week, and I have one more week." And then last day you'll panic. Last day full, oh my god, no, I have to buy charts, I have to buy materials, I have to research on my project. Oh no, I'm gonna lose so much of time and my marks. So that is what the Parkinson's law talks about. So why this happens is when you know that you have a lot of time, when you know that you know what, today is not the most urgent day that I actually have to do this task, your brain perceives or registers it as something that can you can delay basically. Okay, so obviously, if you have the science model in like the third week, you're not going to start. Nobody's going to start in the first week. Come on, like, we all know that. But then what happens is urgency narrows attention. So when as you near the due date, your mind fully focuses on the task that has to be completed. So now it's very urgent, like Shrutika had already described before. Now the task is urgent and important. So now your full attention goes to that topic, goes to that task that needs to be completed. And you might also ask, what is a big deal? I'm completing the work before due date. Adana mukyam. Like, you don't have to, it doesn't matter when you finish it, you just have to finish it. But no, there are a lot of side effects when it comes to having this mindset, because when you do work last minute, it increases the chance of impulsive thinking, and moreover your quality of work itself reduces by a large extent. So it's really important to overcome this mindset, and how you can do that is you can create artificial deadlines. So ma'am, she's telling you that week 3 you have to submit the science model. What you can do is create an artificial deadline, and you can be like, okay, Friday due date, I can finish it off by, let's say, Tuesday. So at least you get it done in that week at least. And the second one, which has really worked for me also, is keep an accountable buddy. You When you keep an accountable buddy, you are aware that you owe somebody a commitment. You're more likely to stick to that routine when you know that somebody is in check of you and somebody constantly is monitoring what you do on a daily basis. And the third thing is time box your work. Like Shrutika had already mentioned, time your whatever subject or whatever task you have to do and stick to that time, which is very important. So let's say 5 to 5:30 length you want to do geography. Do not extend more than 5:30. Do not extend before 5:30 as well. Don't say that I just have it's already 5:25, I just have 5 more minutes, it's not really a big deal, I can just stop studying now. And that said, don't extend the time because you have a very high motivation and that specific time. Don't say that, you know what, it's just 15 minutes, I can study for 15 minutes more, because motivation will sort of waver off by the end of the study session that you do. And define your finish lines. So for the science model example, tell yourself that first week I am going to buy the materials, second week I am going to do my research, and by third week I will be done with the science model. And of course, don't wait for motivation. I think this is the baseline for any habit. Don't wait for motivation because it's very unstable. Build consistency, and you don't have to follow motivation anymore. Okay, so the last thing is decision fatigue. Have you ever, like, open Netflix. You're like, today I want to watch a nice series. I'm going to open Netflix, and you end up you losing 30 minutes on searching what to watch than actually watching what you want to watch. Because I do that like almost every day. So every day you make decisions about your life, right? What do I eat today? What do I wear? What do I talk to my friend? What do I reply for this message? What do I study today? What assignment to finish today? So all these decisions work on mental resources. They use your mental resources to a large extent. And what you do when you constantly run on these mental resources is definitely mental fatigue. And when you are in that phase of mental fatigue, it is very likely that you make impulsive decisions. So you make decisions without thinking, and you just make decisions based on your convenience. Okay, so what you can do to sort of mend this mindset is plan important decisions in advance. So I'm not telling you to make like a strict timetable that I'll get up at 8 a.m. I will work out for 1 hour, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. workout, 9 a.m. to 9:30 geography, 9:30 to 10:30 maths. No, that's not how it works. I've been there before. Trust me, it does not work. So what you can do is you automate routine decisions. So if you remember, I said neural pathways strengthen through the basal ganglia, and your daily behavior becomes automated. You don't even have to think about it. It becomes very natural to you. Like when you wake up, you automatically go to your bathroom and brush your teeth. So that is one automated behavior that's been established from your childhood. And do important tasks when mentally fresher. So when in the morning you're the most mentally freshest, and that's the best time to sort of list what you have to do in your daily life. So just make a to-do list, keep it as simple as possible, and keep it in such a way where you can commit to it. And definitely break big decisions into smaller steps. Okay. Before concluding, I'd like to talk a little bit about resilience. So, resilience is basically the ability to bounce back from a setback. And I know the biggest conception for being successful is that if people don't fail, like successful people don't fail, but that's simply just not true, because successful people fail all the time, sometimes even more than people who actually succeed in life. But I know this sounds really cliche, but the fact is that when you see failure as failure, you're going to stick in that pool. You're not going to come out. But if you actually think of failure as something, as a feedback sort of, then you know that, what, I just have to work on this and I can still come back. So a personal anecdote from my side, I've been very passionate about dancing ever since like age 1. I've been dancing and dancing, but what happened was an incident in first year, and that sort of broke my self-esteem to a large extent. All that senior political issue and all that. So but I knew, like, yes, it took me a lot of months. Yes, it took me at least like 6 months to come back, but I knew that dancing is one of my like true passion, and I had to come back to it. So that is why resilience is really important. And I want you guys to do a self reflection activity. Want you guys to think of one setback that you've had recently, and I want you to analyze whether you have taken it as proof that you couldn't go back, or you have taken it as feedback as to what to improve in your life. Okay. Second thing is gratitude. So gratitude is basically focusing on what you have, being grateful for what you have instead of seeing what you lack. So gratitude, yes, doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect, but it simply just means, choosing to notice what's already going well in your life. And another simple self-reflection activity that I want you guys to do is just think about some things that you've been really grateful for. It can be a person, it can be a pet, it can be your parents, it can be your friends, it can be an activity that you really enjoy doing that, has still kept you motivated throughout your life. And the last thing is this abbreviation called as STOP. So all these topics that Shrutika and I have explained to you about is really useful, but you also need to know when to stop. Okay, so I want you guys to imagine the word like STOP, stop, and I'm going to break down the acronyms for you. So S is basically C, S for C, T for take a breath, O for observe, and P for proceed. Okay, so when you see, you're pausing before reacting, you're waiting, you're letting your nervous system calm down, and then you're reacting to whatever situation you're faced with. Take a breath, is slower your breathing, be more mindful of your breathing, and practice like breathing exercise. Okay, always observe. So notice your thoughts, emotions, and surroundings again before reacting. And proceed is, you can choose your next action thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively, I could say that. Okay, so like just a summary, like a kutti summary, all these topics that you and I have dealt with, I want you guys to just remember that behavior plus consistency is equal to habit. Whatever behavior that you have to do in life, if you're consistent at it, it becomes automated. So basically, it becomes a habit, and you don't even have to think before doing it. And I just want you guys to reflect on whatever Shrutika and I have said earlier. And with that, I conclude my session here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shrutika and Bhavna. Some absolutely wonderful practical tips from people who've been there, done that, and I think that's what makes this really, really valuable. Really appreciate both of you putting together such a detailed presentation with some very, very chewable, practical ideas on what students can be doing. And students, it's really now up to you. You have the agency to choose what you want to do. The power is within you to choose whether you want to create habits out of what you've just heard, or you just want this to be one of those sessions that you heard in the passing and let go. Truly, it's in your hands to be able to make that positive change for yourselves. It's not for anybody else. I'm sure we'll find another opportunity to engage a little bit more with both of you, Bhavna and Shrutika, and find an opportunity to have you meet with these students in person. But thank you so much once again for making this time and being with our learners this Friday afternoon. And we look forward to the next opportunity to being in touch and to be able to have you both work with our students a little bit more at a deeper level. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having us here, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.